The Seattle Seahawks have gone too far with the Russell Wilson disrespect. Or have they? We're going to break down what's happening, plus Tariq Woolen just had surgery, Seattle's going to have a corner problem, and DK Metcalf and Tyreek Hill continue to beef on who's faster. Somebody is lying between these two. Plus, the Seattle Seahawks are working out a quarterback. They're trying to find the perfect arm to compete in this preseason. We're going to take a look at the Seattle Seahawks, and if there's another team you want us to cover on WiFiWillie NFL, drop a comment below. We know things ended on bad terms between Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. The man was straight booed his first time appearing in Lumen Fields in a Broncos uniform. And we also know that there was some tension between Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. Not only did Russell Wilson request a trade, but you saw Pete Carroll make some comments about Russell Wilson, implying that he was resistant to wearing a wristband in previous seasons. Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson were fighting over wristbands. In a radio show, Pete Carroll said, "If you notice, Gino's going off the wristband. That's a big help. It smoothed things out, sped things up, cleaned things up. We never did that before. There was resistance to that, so we never did that before." Meaning Russell Wilson wouldn't wear a freaking wristband. And Russell Wilson even replied later on, responding to Pete Carroll here in a press conference with the Denver Broncos.
I don't know exactly what he said, but I think, won a lot of games there without one on the wrist. And I didn't know winning or losing mattered if you wore a wristband or not. But I think that we do whatever it takes to make sure that we're rolling and moving and everything else. The few times I've definitely worn a wristband, depending on the game plan and what we have called and all that stuff, but yeah.
Directly responding to Pete Carroll's criticism here. But things have been chill. The Seahawks got the last laugh since the Broncos imploded, but now there's a new level of disrespect having where Russell Wilson's number 3, is not retired, and the Seahawks have a new player who is rocking number 3. So the Seahawks do not retire numbers, but they did not have anybody wear number 3 last year out of respect for Russell Wilson, nor did they have anyone wear number 54 last year out of respect for Bobby Wagner, the linebacker. And Drew Lock went out of his way to change his number out of utmost respect for Russell Wilson. But now the Seahawks have signed cornerback Artie Burns, and he is going to be rocking number 3. And it's just hilarious seeing Broncos fans be salty about this. You even have them say here on predominantlyorange.com, the Denver Broncos properly honor their franchise legend, and apparently the Seattle Seahawks do not. In my opinion, it's just a number. It's not a big deal. And the Seahawks went out of their way to make somebody not wear that number last year. They at least had a 1-year break, unlike teams like the Raiders where they're having somebody wear Derek Carr's number the year after. And part of the reason why Artie Burns, the corner, has been re-signed by the Seattle Seahawks is because Tariq Woolen had some surgery. This is something to monitor and something to keep an eye on throughout the offseason, throughout training camp. According to Adam Schefter, the 5th-round pick underwent arthroscopic knee surgery, and it's expected to sideline him until training camp. But I think if you're going out there signing Artie Burns just in case, you're at least a little worried about the fact that Tariq Woolen might not be 100% ready by training camp. But Tariq Woolen posted an update and said that the surgery went smooth, so expect this guy to be ready by training camp. So Artie Burns was sidelined with injuries last year, but he was on the Seahawks roster. They had Kobe Bryant play a lot along with Mike Jackson and Tariq Woolen. They now have drafted Devin Witherspoon, arguably the best cornerback, maybe even the best defensive player in the 2023 NFL draft. So you're going to have Witherspoon start along with Tariq Woolen. Look for Kobe Bryant to get in the mix as well. They still have Mike Jackson for depth in case Tariq Woolen is not 100% as well. And wide receiver DK Metcalf was making the media rounds, and he was speaking to Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp on Undisputed, and he had a little comment about Tyreek Hill, the cheetah.
I come to an agreement for 2 years, just ain't worked out. You see me running the track meet, I didn't race against no 30-year-olds, but whenever you want to do that and hop on the track.
What are these? So we know DK Metcalf believes he's faster than Tyreek Hill, even though he is a lot larger than Tyreek Hill. Hill. And according to DK Metcalf, Tyreek Hill is hesitant to race him. He keeps on delaying and making excuses. But then you have Tyreek Hill the cheetah clapping back saying, y'all get on here, and believe the dude, I'll show the receipts when he copped out and blamed an injury. So at some point we have to have this race, and because Tyreek Hill is a little older of a receiver, his clock is ticking. He's getting slower and slower every year. I think for Tyreek Hill's sake, if he wants to succeed in this race, he's going to want to make sure that this race happens soon, since DK Metcalf is a lot younger than him. Because remember, DK Metcalf even raced Tyler Lockett, who's pretty quick himself, and DK Metcalf shockingly won that race. Adrian Peterson, the running back who made his name with the Minnesota Vikings but spent some time with Seattle. This guy is 38 years old and refuses to stop playing football. Drafted in freaking 2007, first round pick by the Minnesota Vikings, did not play last year in 2022, but in 2021 had some time with the Tennessee Titans and the Seattle Seahawks. He only had 98 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ever since Minnesota, it's been New Orleans, Arizona, Washington, Detroit, Seattle as well. Maybe if the Seahawks need a guy in a pinch, AP could be that veteran to jump in last minute and finish out his career with Seattle, because mentally he is not officially hung it up yet. We know the Seahawks have Geno Smith and Drew Lock as their number 1 and the number 2 quarterback. Who's going to be number 3, and can somebody duke it out with Drew Lock for that number 2 spot? The Seahawks grabbed undrafted free agent quarterback, a dual threat quarterback right after the draft. They picked up Holton Ahlers out of East Carolina. This guy has thrown for an insane amount of yards throughout his college career, almost 14,000. And Pete Carroll made some comments about the quarterback. He said he's exciting and he likes the intangibles. But the Seahawks are also working out a former Ivy League quarterback, and that is none other than EJ Perry out of Brown University. EJ Perry went undrafted in 2022. He bounced around from the Texans and the Jaguars, but now he is working out with the Seattle Seahawks. Keep in mind, this guy was the MVP of the Shrine Bowl. Did not look too bad there. So between Ahlers, Drew Lock, and potentially EJ Perry, this could be a really exciting QB battle for the number 2 spot during preseason. We're breaking down all the teams around the NFL here on WiFiWillie NFL. Comment below a team you want us to cover next. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.